Welcome. This is part 13 for our Galaxy Defiance Space Shooter series in Godot 4 that uses components. In this video, we're going to be adding the score and Highscore to our game over screen. Let's come to the game over screen, open up the scene, and we're going to need to add some more labels and some control nodes to this scene. We've already got our VBox container here with the game over label and the menu label. We want to add some more labels for our score and Highscore. However, I want to be able to have a space between the score and Highscore. I'm going to actually take a quick screenshot here of what it's going to look like. So it will look like this is what we're going for, where we have a nice space between the number itself and the score value over here. Now, the way we can do this, well, there's a few different ways to do this actually, but the easiest way to do this is to use an HBox container right here and have two labels, a label here and a label here that actually takes up this whole space. So I'll show you how we can do that. We'll first create an HBox container inside of here, like that, and we'll call this score HBox container. And then I'm just going to hit Control D to duplicate that, and we'll call this one Highscore HBox container, like that. And we can add two labels to these, so we'll add a label here. And I like to call these score label, and then we'll duplicate it like this, and I like to call the second one score value, because this right here is just going to say score, and this over here is going to be the actual value. Do a semi or a colon here. Now we want to have our font, so let's find our font, and we'll drag the default label settings onto this label and also onto this label. That way we've got those set up. Now you can see that if we click on these, you can see that they only take up as much space as they need to. And what we want to do is actually make them take up the entire space available to them. And there's two ways we can do this. One, we could make the score label take up the entire space, or we could make this take up the entire space and then set its vertical alignment to the right. And whichever one you choose honestly doesn't matter, although it does seem like setting the score label to take up the entire space makes things easier because then we don't have to mess with the alignment. So we'll do that. We'll come over here. If we come into layout right here, then we come into container sizing. You can see we have some properties here for affecting this. We don't want to manually set the size because, again, this label is inside of a container node, but we do have some control over the size using these right here. So horizontally, it's set to fill, which means it will just fill up the space that it is given, but it's not set to expand. If we set it to expand, it will expand out and take up as much space as possible. So we're going to click that. You can see now our score label takes up this entire space, and our score value is over here on the right. Now I'm going to select both of these like this, and I guess I'll just duplicate them and drag them down into our Highscore here, and we'll just rename them. Highscore label and Highscore value. And then for the Highscore label, we'll just change it to say Highscore. That. Now we want to have access to both of these. Well, one other thing that I want to do here is our press space to return is kind of close to everything. It kind of makes this all feel a little bit cluttered. You can go into your VBox container and change the theme overrides to increase the separation. Like let's say we set the separation to 32. Then it separates those significantly more. But I don't like how we get a huge separation between everything. We might only want some separation between some things. Now there's multiple ways of doing this. Again, one system is just to use a little bit of extra to add a new control node into our VBox container, and we can just do a base control node like this, and we'll just put it above our I accidentally put it inside the HBox container here. Put it above the menu label here, you can see, and we can just call this space like that. And you can see it adds a little bit of extra space there, right? And if we want to increase the space, we can come to the layout and we can set a custom minimum size for it. Like say we set the minimum size to 32, and that's going to add a space of 32 in between our menu label and our Highscore HBox container, which I want to remove the 2 there. Okay, so that's one way to do it. You could also set the min size on the entire VBox container, and then make the menu label expand vertically, and then set its vertical alignment to bottom. So there's definitely a variety of different ways that you can accomplish this. Adding a simple control node here and having it be invisible. This is a pretty logical way to approach it, I think. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so we've got our score labels. We want to be able to access them. However, let's make an assumption that is maybe we're going to move some of these control nodes around in the scene at some point in the future. Let's assume that. And that's going to break the paths if we just drag them over into here. So what we'll want to do is set our score value to be access as, I can right click and do access as unique name here. And our Highscore value as well, access as unique name. Then we can select both of them with control. We can click and drag over into our game over and hold control to drop them. And now you can see we're using the % sign here. And that way, if we do end up moving them around in the scene, it won't break their path because we're accessing them by a unique name. We'll always be able to access them. And this feature is amazing. It's extremely useful for control nodes and menus because they have a tendency to change, like move around as you're iterating on the design of your UI. You tend to move those nodes around in the scene a lot. So that prevents that issue. So now we have access to both of them. We also need access to our game stats now. So we're going to come up here and we'll say export game bar game stats. Like this. And come down here, find our game stats, and drag them over into the scene so that we've got access to them. Now, in our ready function, we can manipulate the label for our score value and our Highscore value. So first, let's start with the score value. Score value dot text equals string game stats dot score. Okay, and then we want to, well, before we do this, we also want to check to see if our score is higher than our Highscore. So if game stats dot score is greater than game stats dot Highscore, then we'll set the Highscore. Game stats dot Highscore is equal to game stats dot score, right? And it's mad at me for something. Oh, I have game dot game stats. I messed that up. There we go. Okay. And then down here we can say Highscore value dot text equals game stats dot Highscore. And then once we've set these, we want to actually reset the score for the game back to 0. Because we want to be able to, if they press, I mean, we could do it here. We could reset the score back to 0. So I guess maybe that makes more logical sense, is to come in here and say game stats dot score equals 0. Like that. Yeah, I think that'll work. You could do it just after this up here in the ready. It doesn't matter, but this kind of makes more logical sense. When they restart the game, we go back to the main menu, we set the score back to 0. Okay, so let's try this. Let's run our game. And we're fighting some enemies. I'll kill one. And then I'm going to try my best to avoid killing. Dang it. Okay, so our score is 15. That makes our high score 15. Start over. Our score is back to 0. Now let's increase our score some. We got to hit higher than what we had before. And there we go. We did. And boom. Now our high score is 20. Our score is 20. But if we were to die right away on something and get a lower score, like 5, our high score got set to 5 as well. So we've got an issue here. And I actually know what this issue is, I think. So we're not actually... So here's what's happening. This is an important issue to talk about, actually, because it has to do with resources. We're getting access to our game stats right here, right? However, the stats for our game stats here, when we load this resource here, it's actually grabbing this exact resource right here. Now, as long as that resource is in memory inside of our game, Godot will remember any changes to it. Okay? However, the minute we go to a scene where that resource is no longer in memory, Godot automatically frees it so that it's not taking up memory anymore. And it forgets everything that it knew about it. Completely forgets all of the values. So the high score value that we had, Godot forgets it. Says, no, you're back to 0. Because that's what your high score value is. So this is one of the differences between using like a global singleton and using a resource. Is that the minute that resource is no longer held in memory, and guess what? Our menu screen here, nothing inside of this scene has access to the game stats, and therefore Godot is like, well, we don't need to keep this in memory anymore because nothing is using it. And that's usually wise, right? However, we're running into an issue here where we're losing that. Now, the easiest solution to this, which is the one that the full version of this project actually implements, well, I guess maybe the easiest is not the right way to put it, but a very simple solution to this is just to save and load the high score anyways. Because currently this high score isn't going to be saved anywhere. So if they close the game and then reopen it, their high score is going to be gone because we haven't saved it anymore. So the solution that I implement to solve this is just to save the high score somewhere. However, another solution, and this solution is useful to keep in mind, is to actually create a singleton that just keeps this in memory all the time. So we could do that real quick here. I'm going to do it just to show you how this works. So let's create a new script, and we'll call this script resource stash. And well, I want to do the new naming convention resource underscore stash like this. Okay, create it. And this script, all it's going to do is it's going to load our game stats. So we'll just say var game stats equals load game stats.tres, like that. All it does is load it. And then we come into our project settings, we come into auto load, and we select our resource stash right here, and we add it. And now what that does is Godot keeps our game stats in memory all the time now. So let's run the game. Let's get a high score, right? get a high score of like 10 or something. And then die. There we go. Score, there's our high score. Now let's try and die without killing any enemies. Okay, there we go. And look now. Now Godot still remembers the high score of 10. It didn't forget it, even though we went back to the menu screen. Why didn't it forget it? It's because if we run our game and we come to a remote scene tab, we can see our resource stash. It has our game stats here, and it keeps our game stats in memory all the time. It never lets Godot forget about game stats. It keeps it in memory the entire time. That's a little bit of a complicated topic to discuss, but it's important to understand that when using resources. If you have a resource like game stats, then Godot will only remember the values that any changes you make to that resource if it's still in memory. The minute it's no longer in memory, the minute nothing is referencing it anymore, and I won't go into reference counting, but the minute nothing is referencing it anymore, Godot forgets any changes that have been made to it. So, important lesson to learn. Now, resources can also be saved. You can just save the resource so that it doesn't forget those changes. But that saving resources is not really the best way to save stuff right now. There's some reasons for that. GDQuest made a video on that. If you want to go check out GDQuest's channel and look into saving resources, he did a whole video about that, so you can learn more about resources and saving with them and loading with them and some of the challenges that come from that. But yeah, so this is the solution that I'm going to implement right now, is just create a resource stash that keeps this resource in memory all the time. That way, until we implement our saving, we'll probably remove this once we implement our saving and loading, because it will no longer be necessary, because we'll be using a saving system to remember the high score across different play sessions anyway. So that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you found it helpful and learned something new. It was actually a big surprise for me when I learned about how resources worked in memory, and that if they were no longer referenced, they would lose that. So that was a surprise to me when I learned it. Hopefully it was useful for you to learn that here. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel. And if you like my content, please consider supporting it by purchasing my Godot courses. There'll be a link in the description where you can check those out. I will see you all in the next video.